I'm recording this video at 11:50 in the morning on July 2nd of 2025. And the reason I'm specifying that to you is because this story has been slowly gaining traction for a full week now without too many developments that are substantial. So I'm going to continue to wait just slightly, just in case something further develops. And number two, I think this video in this topic, in this subject matter, could play into a deeper conversation in the realm of transparency between cops and victims. Because stop me if you've heard this story before. Cop and black person get into it. Cop shoots black person, and then we get calls for protest. We get calls for justice. We've seen this story play out before, but I think maybe this might be playing out a little bit differently because Jabari Peoples was an 18-year-old who is now no longer on this earth. May he rest in peace. The story goes like this. Cop is in the area, smells marijuana, sees a car, sees people in the car, questions if they're the ones with the marijuana, asks them to step out of the car. He and Jabari Peoples get into it, and according to the cop, Jabari gets back to the car, gets a gun, and points it at the cop, and the cop shoots Jabari Peoples. And it's pointed out by the police department that this is all on body camera footage. And the family is saying that there's a different side to this, that there was no struggle, there was no going back to the car and getting a gun. He just shot Jabari in the back, and their story is amplified by the witness who was in the car with Jabari. Now, you might hear that and look at me and say, well, Leon, obviously the way we could end this all right now is to show the body camera footage, because if you have one person saying one thing and another person saying another thing, it's clear that the only thing that's going to shut this conversation down is showing the body camera footage. That way we could have a clear and concise answer as to what was going on. Is it someone who's fallen from police brutality and a cop who's using their power in abusive manner, or is it a cop defending themselves from potential harm in the area and to themselves? Well, the problem, and this is the reason why I'm talking about that transparency between cops and the victim's family, is because the victim's family has been loudly proclaiming their side as the truth. The one thing is they've been hoping, then praying and demanding that the body camera footage be shown to them. And the cops are taking their sweet time doing so, to the point where they have denied the family access to that as it pertains to an ongoing investigation.
Follow new developments out of Homewood as the investigation into a deadly officer-involved shooting continues. An 18-year-old was shot and killed Monday night at the Homewood Soccer Park on Lakeshore Drive. But the family's attorney says the other person in the car remembers a much different scenario. The family of 18-year-old Jabari Peoples say they want answers and justice after the teen was killed by a Homewood police officer.
This is absolutely tragic, the situation here. We believe that we shouldn't be here. It doesn't make sense at all. Everyone who knows this young man knows the kind of individual he was, stand-up individual, quality individual. What they're claiming, we know it not to be true. It doesn't add up, it doesn't make sense.
Leroy Maxwell, the attorney representing Peoples' family, says Jabari was a college student working security at DCH Hospital, not someone looking for trouble.
Yeah, Jabari, young man in school, had dreams of becoming a member of law enforcement. That was a goal of his. Right now, if he wasn't in this situation, he'd be at work right now, working for DCH, the hospital, doing security, because that's who he was.
According to new details released by Homewood Police, an officer responded to a call about a suspicious vehicle in the soccer field parking lot around 9:30 Monday night. Inside the car, Jabari Peoples and another person. The officer claimed he smelled marijuana and ordered them out of the car. That's when he spotted a gun in the driver's side door. As he attempted to handcuff Peoples, the officer claims he was knocked down and that Peoples grabbed the gun, forcing the officer to open fire. Homewood police say the officer was wearing a body camera, which clearly supports the officer's version of what led up to the shooting. The family is disputing that claim, insisting Peoples never reached for a weapon. They're calling for the release of that body cam video.
Be transparent, be open about it. If you feel like you've done nothing wrong, share it with the community. We're here, we're standing strong, we're 10 toes down, waiting for some sort of response, and yet silence.
As the investigation continues, the Jefferson County District Attorney will ultimately determine whether the officer's use of force was justified or if criminal charges should be filed. And the mayor of Aliceville, Terrence Wyndham, is also requesting that Aaliyah and Homewood officials release the records and footage from this incident to the public. He says, quote, "This moment calls for clarity and compassion. The people of Alabama deserve both." Homewood police did say they are working on sharing the body camera footage of the incident with people's family, adding they empathize with their grief during this time.
A statement from Aaliyah says in part the agency, quote, reviewed the request and determined disclosure of the requested recording would affect the ongoing investigation. Aaliyah respectfully declined to make the requested disclosure.
Now, I understand why the public, us, me, you watching this, are not really having access to it at our beck and call because we're the public. But when you have the victim's family sitting there saying that they want to see it, they're requesting time to see it, and I believe at one point the police department was saying, hey, we're trying to schedule a time for them to come see it, and then now it's, oh no, this is part of an ongoing investigation. It creates that lack of transparency, and it creates further distrust between law enforcement and the people, because you already have an enormous amount of people who are not a fan of the cops. You have an enormous amount of people who believe all the cops do are hunt down minorities, POCs, indigenous people, and alike.
Jabari Latrell Peoples was murdered by the Homewood Police Department of Alabama. Jabari Latrell Peoples was murdered by the Alabama Homewood Police Department at 18 years old. An 18-year-old child who's supposed to be living his life right now, building his future. A child who was a fucking security officer, all for his crime of sitting in a parking lot at 9 p.m. They refused to release the body cam footage. They did a whole autopsy, unauthorized. 12 hours after his death, that's when his family was notified. Jabari Latrell Peoples deserves justice. And the fact that his family has to keep getting online to beg for visibility because they refuse to report on it. Homewood Police Department needs to be held accountable. The people who killed, murdered that boy needs to be held accountable because Jabari Latrell Peoples is supposed to be here. But because of his crime of being black, he was murdered. Murdered. In the same week that 4 black men and 1 Hispanic man were found hanging from trees. The fact that we still have to get online and beg to be seen as people, to be not treated like fucking animals, is inhumane. Animals get treated better than we do in this country.
And so when you have a scenario where you have the cops loudly saying, hey, we are in the right and we have the body camera footage to show it, and you have the family saying, this is not how this play out, and you have their attorney loudly saying, if what you're saying is true, post it, let us see it, or broadcast it to make sure that what you're saying is true, I think it creates a larger problem. And the issue with people jumping the gun so fast is the immediate reactions, because they're hoping to be right because of how history has shown police enforcement and police brutality and police abusing their power in subject matters that don't absolutely warrant it. And you have examples of people lying and body camera footage showing completely otherwise as to why a cop would be justified in doing what they've done, which is shoot someone or use aggressive force in the matter of the subject of what's going on. And I, at this current point, don't want to go further with this until I see body camera footage. Because if I stopped right now and asked your thoughts, I would just have nothing. I would have nothing to go off of but the lack of transparency, because that is a real issue for me. But I'm wanting to do this first so that eventually, when the time comes and that body camera footage is shown to the public, I could come back to this video and say, yes, add this extra part that proves either the family is believing a witness who's not really doing a good job telling a story, or the cops are lying and they tried to stall their lie as best as they can so that they can make themselves look good, because both of these create concern. But when it comes down to the body camera footage, it'll prove that one is a greater concern, because now we got a dead kid and we got a bunch of people clamoring about who's right and who's wrong. So for now, I'm gonna let this lay right here, and then once an update comes, I'm going to come back and finish this video. It's Thursday now. It's 9:30 in the morning, or almost 9:30 in the morning, and we've gotten further development via the family trying to create a petition in order to actually get access to seeing that body camera footage.
City officials are asking for the release of body cam video in the shooting death of Jabari Peoples. Thanks for joining us at 10. I'm Guy Rawlings.
And I'm Sherry Falk. The Peoples family is now asking for the video as part of a possible wrongful death lawsuit. In the most recent court documents, Jabari's mother, along with the family's attorney, Leroy Maxwell, filed a petition for the footage, incident reports, and the names of the officers on the scene the night of his death. While a lawsuit has not been filed yet, they say this request, should it be fulfilled, would be used as evidence in the case.
Just hours after the petition was filed, Homewood's mayor sat down with the family for the first time since that shooting happened. WVTM 13's Aaron Llewellyn was at City Hall today. Walk us through the family's mission to find answers, Aaron.
Yeah, guys, Sherry, it all started when Jabari Peoples' family and community supporters showed up to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency's office in Homewood. They say that they were asked to leave, so they ended up moving to the Homewood City Hall. And they had a phone conversation with Aaliyah. Then they say that they had a conversation with the mayor, but it's still unclear as to whether or not those conversations were productive. The quest for answers in Jabari Peoples' death continues.
At the end of the day, the family deserves to have some clarity and transparency.
Peoples' family met with Homewood Mayor Alex Wyatt on Wednesday to get some of those answers.
I hope it was productive. I think it's important to have communication, and so I'm happy that we had this opportunity to speak to each other about this incident.
During our interview with him, it was clear the family was disappointed and did not agree with what the mayor said.
I'm going to say it was the most productive meeting, but to have the mayor, offer his condolences to this family, to stand on the side of this family, and to demand Aaliyah allow this family to see the video is a step in the right direction toward transparency.
Wyatt says the city of Homewood has asked the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency to release the body cam video multiple times. He said the city does not have a copy of the video, and when asked if he saw it, he said he didn't want to get into that.
We know that the mayor has seen the video.
That's right.
We know that the mayor's chief of staff has seen the video. We know that the police chief has seen the video.
That's right.
We know that the city attorney, Charlie Waldrop, and Stewart and his team have seen the video.
And the family says they still haven't seen the video of their loved one's final moments.
I want to know what happened to my son. What was hard was going down there seeing my son laying there cold in Lavender Funeral Home. That's what was hard. And not knowing the truth about that's what's hard.
Wyatt says the city has done all it can to help the family get the answers they're looking for.
We don't have the authority. Once Aaliyah shows up and takes over the investigation, they, by law and by statute, become the custodian, so we cannot release it.
But the family and community activists say there's still a lack of transparency with Aaliyah too, who says its general counsel did mention showing parts of the body cam video.
When we see portions of the video, it does not give the full context to what really happened to Jabari. And so we don't want to see portions of a video, but we are demanding to see all unedited versions of the video.
But until then, Jabari's father, William, says nothing will ever heal their pain.
We're broken. We got a hole that can't be filled, never will be filled. Ask me how I feel, ask how we feel, ask us how we doing. We'll never be doing good. We'll never be whole again.
And me being a part of the general public, I'm fine with not being able to see it at my beck and call because honestly, it doesn't really affect me in the grand scheme. But the family should have been able to see this at some point during the past week because it's now Thursday. Come next Monday, it'll be 2 weeks. And I'm hoping before then they are able to see this body camera footage and are able to go forward with either pressing charges on an entire police department due to negligence and not really being willing to give them that information to see what happened to their son, or grieving the fact that their son did something dumb and it led to him dying. But the fact that it's gone on this long and the family has not been able to see that footage, has not been able to verify what happened to their child, has gotten an autopsy done to find out or discover that their son got shot in the back, which kind of throws a monkey wrench in that, oh, he grabbed a gun, then turned around and pointed the gun at the officer. So which is it? And it's all on the feet of the police department because they're the ones that said they have the body camera footage. They initially were trying to schedule a meeting with the family so that they could see it, but now, because apparently this is an open investigation, they're not allowing them to see it. It smells a little bit fishy, and it seems right now, because there's nothing in front of me that can say otherwise until that body camera footage is released or they are able to record it and broadcast it to everybody, it seems like the cops are trying to hide a mistake that led to a kid dying. As we now officially reach 2 weeks of this going on, I feel like the worst update that I could give y'all to wrap this all up for now is that Ben Crump is on the scene.
It broke not only his family's heart, it broke his community's heart, it broke Alabama A&M University heart to know that one of their brightest lights wouldn't be back for what would be his sophomore year. And so we have to let the world know that he was special, that he was talented, that he was gifted, that he was 18 years old, and Jabari Peoples shouldn't be dead. His family are asking for answers. Right. They're just asking for answers. Is that so much to ask for? Your 18-year-old son who's never been convicted of any crime. He's never even been arrested before in his life. Was doing everything right that you would want from a child. And he's killed by the police, the people who are supposed to protect and serve him. Wouldn't you want answers? Wouldn't you just want the truth to come out?
And I don't have too much confidence in Ben Crump because every time he get his nose into something and then it goes national, it seems like every time it ends up going bad for the people he's trying to help. And that's just history, and that I hope doesn't repeat itself, because as it stands, the lack of transparency and the lack of communication towards the family specifically is what's pissing me off. It leads me to think that the cops have something to hide because they were the ones who initiated the conversation of this happened because of this, with the added caveat of we have the body camera footage to back up what we're saying. And the fact that the family has not been able to see it, but several other people have been able to see it via the investigation, via just overlooking it in general and not really giving the family enough of confidence that, hey, this happened the way the cops described and our son's a dumbass and we will mourn him, but we will also try in the future to tell all the younger people in our family not to do this thing when we're dealing with the police. Or it's actually as it's described by the witness and by the family that the officer just shot a kid in the back. And ultimately, it sucks that I gotta say this even though it's been 2 weeks, but time will be the ultimate indicator of what actually went down. Did it go the way the parents are saying? Did it go the way the cops are saying? Once this investigation reaches its conclusion, or we get to a point where they say fuck it, and after going through enough of the investigation, they feel comfortable enough releasing it to the public, and we let the public discourse make this entirely worse than what it already is, and we reach that conclusion of either justified or unjustified. I will be there to say justified or unjustified based on what the cops let everyone see, or what the investigators let everyone see. But as it stands right now, the cops look shady not letting the parents come see it. ALEA looks shady not letting the parents go see it. And that is where you leave things as it lay. No narrative base, no bombastic statements about racism or woke, just lack of transparency and untrustworthiness in the police department. Because as people will have their conversations about this is another example, if it goes the route of the cops lying about why people are untrustworthy towards the cops. But not every cop is like that. No shit. But you cannot have a conversation where you're painting something or someone or a group of people as 100% good when there's reasons that people will view them as bad, whether it be 100%, 60%, 50%. You can't have these conversations separately because it's vast and it's big. Of course, there are good cops who follow the lay of the law by the book and they want to make their community safer and want to be protectors of their communities. There's also motherfuckers who are power hungry, who will hide something if it makes them or their coworker look bad. Don't believe me? Go have fun looking at history. But in the meantime, leave it where it lay, and I will see you all in the next one. Let me know. Are you on the cop side? Do you think they're lying? Do you think they're telling the truth? Do you think Jabari Peoples had a gun? Do you think the witness is lying? Do you think the family is lying? Do you believe that people should be transparent towards the families in these types of scenarios and situations and investigations? And I will gladly read your statements in the comments in the future. Mwah! Goodbye.